everyone. Welcome to A Beautiful Life. Those of you who are watching, welcome. This is a very new thing for me. Those of you who are watching on video, I want to apologize for the sound. I can't find my podcast microphone. I have no idea where it is, so now I'm revealing myself. Excuse me. I'm revealing my secret. I'm using this tiny little microphone, and I've been using it for the past 3 months. So those of you who are on video, you can't hear my voice as clearly as if you were listening. So I want to apologize. I will eventually find that microphone. Who knows? But those of you who are watching on video, welcome. This is A Beautiful Life. This is my first installment of the video podcast here on YouTube. There is something in my throat. I'm very excited about this new aspect to podcasting because you guys get to watch me, and I think it's easier to connect when you can see the person that you're listening to. So those of you who are listening, I love you guys. You are awesome. But if you want to see my face, we can connect a little bit more on YouTube. But I love all of my listeners. You guys are awesome. You guys are the ones that make this podcast possible. So last week was our first podcast episode of the year of 2023. So if you didn't give it a listen, it wasn't a video. This is the first video. I wasn't able to do it because my little podcast bedroom area wasn't set up at the time, and I was in the garage, and we do not need to see that. So I wasn't able to do the video podcast last week, but I did talk about habits, healthy habits, building healthy habits. Those of you who are on here watching, I highly recommend going back and listening to that episode because this is going to kind of play off of that topic. I hope you're having a wonderful day, by the way. It's a Wednesday, so it's hump day. So I hope you guys are doing well so far in your week. And I know I personally am ready for the weekend already, which doesn't normally happen, but I very much am. But we're going to take one day at a time. Also, I hope you guys are doing well with your habits. I have been doing pretty well. I've been making my bed every morning. I have been drinking lots of water. I have been doing my devotions. So I hope you guys are doing well as well. But it is only the second week of January, so not to be negative. We can do this. We can do this. We're going to keep it up. So again, what I said before, today we're going to play off our last topic about building healthy habits by talking about skincare and hair care products. This is something I'll be talking about on Instagram in today, I think. I don't know. Anyway, this is pre-recorded, so who knows. Particularly ones that are toxic to our health. Now, one thing that I had mentioned on Instagram on Monday was that in my stories, it was that there are a lot of organic / natural products for your skin and hair that claim to be completely natural and organic, but unfortunately still have toxic ingredients in them. So you probably know a lot about products to avoid because it is trending now to remove toxic products from your daily routine due to various endocrine disruptions, hormone imbalances, that kind of thing that it can cause, and even cancer. There are a lot of ingredients that are in our products that we don't realize can actually cause cancer if we use them long term. Well, some of these companies that I'm going to mention later on actually really surprised me. There were a couple of companies that just I would never have thought would be one of those toxic brands. But it also didn't at the same time because I'm a very, what is the word? I question everything. I don't trust something at face value. I always have to look deeper into it to make sure that it's actually what it claims to be. So I thought I'd share these in case you didn't know. I know that a lot of people probably would be as shocked as I was, and I'm going to start off with ingredients because I feel like that's the most important topic is what ingredients are you looking for, because this is not going to be an exhaustive list of I'm usually talking about programs of products. So this is not an exhaustive list of products. There are so many product brands out there that we either consider or we don't consider because we either don't use them or we do use them. And so obviously I couldn't make an exhaustive list for you. It'd be too much work. But knowing the ingredients that you should avoid is important. So take out a pen and paper. You're going to want to take notes of this. benzoyl peroxide, parabens, those are huge, they clog the pores, triclosan, phthalates, petroleum, again, clogs the pores, oxybenzone, mineral oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, which is more often found in shampoos and things that foam. So you're not going to find it in conditioners and moisturizers and things like that. You're going to find it in foamy things. I think what it's supposed to do is give you that soapy feeling. Hydroquinone, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, PEG, synthetic colors, propylene glycol, isopropyl alcohol, DEA, TEA, MEA, and talc. Now, what is not in here that should be in here? Oh, it is. I said mineral oil. Duh. I'm looking at a list and I just completely looked over it. So mineral oil is one of those things that you're going to find in makeup. You're going to find it in face oils. Anything that has an oilier texture or lays onto your skin, like foundations that go smoothly onto your skin, that kind of sit on your pores, you're going to most likely find mineral oil in those, and primers. So you want to make sure that you're not putting mineral oil on your face, because that is actually going to clog your pores and create a really bad situation in your face. You're going to have more breakouts, and it's just not good for you. So there are many more ingredients. In fact, there was a website at one point that I came across not too recently, but they actually removed this part of their website, but they had all of the ingredients listed that you should avoid and why. And I loved it. It was fantastic, but unfortunately it's not there anymore. So always do your research. If you find an ingredient in a product that you have, whether it's a makeup product, a shampoo, any kind of hair care product, or a facial care product, or even lotion that you do not recognize or that sounds funky, always do your research, look into it, because that's the only way you're going to find out these ingredients that you should be avoiding. So most of these, like I said, are going to be found in cleansers, lotions, moisturizers, makeup, shampoos, conditioners, dry shampoo. Dry shampoo is actually very toxic. I do use it, but very rarely. So there are some natural dry shampoos that you can actually make at home. But we all want the easy part, don't we? We all just want it to be easy. We want to be able to just spray it in our hair. So in those cases, use it sparingly or don't use it at all. But don't use it every day, because basically what you're doing for dry shampooing, for example, you're inhaling toxins. So you want to just be very careful. All right, so those are the ingredients that you should take note of in particular, because those are found in a lot of the common brands that we'll be mentioning in just a second. There are a lot of brands, like I mentioned at the beginning, that did not make it onto my toxic list. There are a lot of brands that I'm not sure about, that I haven't done any research into. And there are some that will hide ingredients in weird names like natural stuff, natural additives. Usually that word, that term, especially when it's added to food, it's hiding something. So you want to just be careful. A lot of the brands that I don't know about, they're not on the clean list, but they're also not on the toxic list because they're fairly new on the market, and I haven't done research into them. So if that's something that you want to do, again, if you find a product that you love that you're not sure about, always do your research, look into it. I will say that any brand that typically has a huge following or a lot of ads or is obsessed over or has a celebrity endorsement is probably not a brand that you should be using. The reason for that is just like diets, they are a fad. And typically they're the ones that claim to work and kind of do, but they have toxic ingredients in them that are giving you this facade that it's working. And it might be working on the surface, but what's happening deeper is not being attended to. So I could be totally wrong about that, but that's typically what I observe, is that anything celebrity endorsed, anything obsessed over by a large amount of people is probably something you want to avoid. So anyway, as far as skincare product brands go, the most toxic ones, and these are not 1 to 10, they're not most toxic to least toxic. It's just they're all just toxic. So, St. Ives is one. Simple, which you'd be surprised, simple, because it's simple. You know, you'd have simple ingredients, but unfortunately, no. Cetaphil, L'Oreal, Clinique, Olay, Estee Lauder, Lancome, Neutrogena, Glossier, and CeraVe. Unfortunately, many people that I know use these brands, and they are some of the most toxic brands that you could possibly use. I also have noticed that any product recommended by a dermatologist are junk as well. You can take that in whatever way you will. Dermatologists have their place, I guess, but everything that I've heard from people who've gone to dermatologists, they have seen absolutely no benefit whatsoever to what they work with them for. So anyway, I mean, that's just food for thought. Personally, I don't think dermatologists are helpful. I think that the products that they sell to people, especially if they're trying to get rid of acne or things like rosacea, they're extremely toxic to the body. And even though they might get rid of the surface issue, but what's happening in the body, what's happening to the endocrine system and the gut is so detrimental that you're causing more problems than you're fixing. So, toxic products usually target the endocrine system, which are your hormones. They toxify the body overall, but they also attack the gut and they attack the nervous system. So you want to be really careful that you're not using toxic ingredients. All right, so hair care companies now, very similar. Again, these ones are the ones that surprised me a little bit more than the skincare companies, but there are still companies that I just had no idea, especially cleansers, that I had no idea were not good for you. So, hair care companies, again, this is not in order, most toxic to less toxic, they're all toxic. So, Tresemme, obviously, is going to be really, really toxic. I've heard really bad things about this company, so just avoid it altogether. Herbal Essences, Matrix, Head & Shoulders, Bath & Body Works. I know it's sad, but Bath & Body Works really is a very toxic company. Pantene, John Frieda, Bedhead, Finis, Dove, Garnier Fructis. Oh, sorry. Tresemme is toxic, but Garnier Fructis is probably the worst. Just so you know. Garnier Fructis. I got those two mixed up. OGX, which is supposed to be an organic shampoo company, but they put a lot of toxic ingredients in their shampoos and conditioners. Like, dude, you're either organic or you're not. Come on. And there will be a lot of companies just warning you, like OGX, who will claim to have organic ingredients. And if you look at the ingredients list, it'll say organic, but you'll have all of these other chemicals that are added as well. So you got to be wary of that as well. Aussie, Suave, L'Oreal, and Neutrogena. So typically shampoos are more toxic than conditioners because they do have more of the foaming ingredients that aren't good for you. Those are the ones that get absorbed into your system. So be sure to double check your shampoo in particular before purchasing. Conditioners tend to be less ingredient filled, so they're a little bit safer, but still check the ingredients anyway. So the brands that I've listed for you today, they show up as being probably the most toxic in our world. So avoiding them, really just removing them from your life completely, is the best thing to do for your skin and your hair. And this is going to promote anti-aging benefits as well, because when you put these toxins in your body, it's promoting premature aging. So anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there. Now, I don't want to leave you hanging with negative reactions to these things. So I want to give you some alternatives to consider, because the biggest thing about A Beautiful Life is offering you beautiful solutions to things that we need to avoid, right? So some of my favorite companies that I have actually done research on, and some of them I have actually used in the past, are Thayer's, number one favorite. Love that company. Pacifica, 100% pure. That's what I actually use on my hair. Dr. Bronner's, Aveda, ABBA, Avalon Organics, Rahua. It's RAHUA, and Yarok, YAROK. So those are some companies that are really, really good. They didn't seem to have any toxic ingredients. It depends on who owns the company and if they sell the company, or if the recipes change. It all depends on that. So let's just hope that they maintain their hold on their companies, because for now they are really good. And if you guys want the list, I will be posting that on Instagram in my stories. And if you miss the story, it will be saved in the skincare highlight on Instagram. And obviously, I've mentioned this twice already. Feel free to do your own research into other product lines, because as I was doing my research, I found so many companies that are coming out that are brand new to this. I want to keep saying world, but it's not that word. Oh, goodness. Anyway, they're on the scene. They're being sold. There is an Australian brand that I really liked like 5 years ago, but I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it. But I do know that I randomly found it at Marshall's and I never found it again, but it was the best moisturizer I had ever used in my life. But now I kind of stick to Thayer's for pretty much every part of my skincare routine because I'm lazy and I have to have it super simple, so I kind of streamlined it. So I personally use Thayer's. I use their cleanser, their toner, and their moisturizer, and I love it. It is fantastic. And they are simple, they're straightforward, they don't hide their ingredients. But yeah, that Australian company was amazing. And I wish I could remember what it was. But it's kind of fun when you go to Marshall's and you find these random skincare products. You're like, oh my gosh, this is a really great company, and it would have been twice this expensive if I had bought it online. So make sure you go to Marshall's, because you never know, you might be able to find something good. I used to have a couple of sites. I told you about that one site that had the toxic ingredients list. I used to have a couple others, but I think I've changed laptops since then. At least twice. I think I've had 2 laptops since then, so I couldn't even tell you where to find it. But I know that's helpful, right? I mean, just telling you guys that it's so helpful. I don't have it for you, but it was a mother and daughter, and they were doing research into these products and the ingredients, and I think it was called Naturally. No, it wasn't Naturally Sassy. I can't remember what it was called now. Anyway, when in doubt, just look up an ingredient. Really, my family will actually, because I used to do research into this very, very much in depth when I was like 16, when I was first starting A Dancer's Diary, when I was writing. And so now I don't have them all memorized, but I have enough memorized that I can look at the ingredients list and be like, okay, that's kind of not a good thing. We need to get rid of that. So my family members, whenever they buy their skincare and hair care products, they'll actually ask me, is this a good ingredient? So you'll be that person if you do your research. You can help others with their skincare and hair care products. But don't forget makeup, because makeup can be really sneaky as well. The only thing that I bend on is eyeliner and mascara. And I probably shouldn't, but I have not found a single organic or natural mascara that I actually like. Not a single one. I can't seem to find one because it's either too clumpy and dry, or it doesn't wash off properly, and I hate using coconut oil to get my makeup off. So I just use like Maybelline. So, I mean, there's concessions that you'll have to make, and you'll just have to just hope and pray that it's going to be okay. There are certain times where you're not going to be able to avoid a toxic product, and that's okay. That's fine. Just support your body in other areas so that you don't fall into a toxic overload. And if you're just using mascara and you're using all other natural products like I am, you'll be fine. I really don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. So anyway, another thing I want to mention is when you do research an ingredient, it will tell you whether it's natural or man-made. Whenever it's a man-made product, you want to just avoid it, because there will be a lot of places online that will tell you, oh, it's man-made, but it's natural. It's okay for you. I don't trust them. So you want to really look and see if there are any negative effects to that ingredient, and that is what's going to tell you that it's either good or bad. So happy hunting, guys. Your body matters way more than the fads, way more than having all the makeup products that this celebrity is coming out with. Your health matters more. I hope that this helped answer any questions about toxic skincare products, hair care products, and brands. If you do have any other questions, you are more than welcome to get in contact with me at any time. Also, don't forget to check out my Instagram page because I have been posting lots of fun stuff, especially about these topics, in my stories. So definitely make sure you see the stories because that's where I put all of the extra stuff. Well, in the meantime, thank you guys for joining me online here in video format. I've had a lot of fun talking to you guys and having you see my face. And I will see if I can find my microphone so the sound can be better. If you hear clicking, by the way, that's my guinea pig. Unfortunately, she's in my room too, so you'll hear her occasionally. And for those of you who are just listening, thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week. Until next time, we'll be talking about some other awesome habit related type of topics. I think next week we're actually talking about the pineal gland, which is really cool. So if you're interested in what the pineal gland is and how your brain connects your whole body, including the hormones, that's what we're going to be talking about in brief detail next week, next Wednesday. So be sure to check that out next Wednesday. All right. Until then, have a beautiful life, guys.